And then OG, pretty standard stuff as well. Jug would have been decent to defend lanes, so maybe that's why that's banned for them.
Yeah, and OG, the one picking up the Monkey King. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but we haven't seen them play Monkey King this tournament?
I believe so. We've definitely not seen them play of the matches we've seen on the mainstream.
On the mainstream,
where they've picked Monkey King. And it's interesting, isn't it? Because we have started to see over the last 2 days this Monkey King Lina. I wouldn't call it a meta just yet, but it has started to become more popular.
It's a safe opening, basically.
Yeah.
Lina really is seen as that pick that's safe in the early two, just because it can do both positions. Definitely a lot safer than a hero like Venge. Venge was kind of that hero a month or two ago, but it's not as versatile. It's not as effective from a core position as it is. And definitely some weaknesses there. But the Lina just seems just strong right now with that respawn talent.
Yeah, it seems like the Monkey King pick RTK wasn't really expecting that.
It's already confused. It's already struggling with the first 2 picks.
Yeah, we saw a couple of games yesterday where like the first pick is like bam, bam. Then you theory craft that, you know what to expect. But
we saw that
this
morning.
First pick here,
it was almost like EG and IG had stayed up last night, looked at each other's drafts, figured out who they were going to pick, figured out who they were going to ban. Because literally, the moment the draft started, they both banned 2 out. They pick one, the other team picked both. EG literally locked in the same 2 next to it. Was okay, they already figured this draft out.
And normally that's what you do, right, Purge? These first picks are the ones you can properly prepare for. Surely for the bans,
but
likewise, and the picks afterwards takes a little bit more time.
But likewise, ROTK would have been up last night and studied their drafts so far here and gone, right, they don't pick Monkey King, fine, okay, ignore that. And then of course they pick Monkey King, and he's like,
what do we do now?
So we get a Tusk Lina opener.
So
Lina obviously nice and safe, but the Tusk, we haven't seen a huge amount of it.
Yeah, we've seen it a little bit. It is a pretty decent early roaming hero. Definitely can be effective against Monkey King. Attack speed reduction from the Sigil. Once you just keep doing damage to him, he can't get away really. So as long as you can kill him before he kills you, you're in a good spot. So I think the opening's pretty good. Tusk is maybe a little early committed to here because while it roams, it's oftentimes also picked up for reasons of like countering things like duel, epicenter, stuff like that. But they can make it work. Keep in mind Wings played it offlane, other teams played it support. There's a lot of variability here.
I mean, variability with Lina as well in that regard, so fairly open. OG maybe be a little bit less open with the Monkey King already to be expected to be the 4, but doesn't mean that it's less scary in any way. I'm really curious to see how much pressure OG applies early game, because sure they're normally very hot in the rotations, but they're lately not as kill heavy. They're more objective heavy in the early game, I feel. So it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. That's important.
Kills do make objectives. So.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
What OG one of the teams that picked Tusk?
Yeah, Jarek's
they had one
game
yesterday, didn't they, with Jarex? Yeah.
It went a little bit. It was like mediocre. It was okay in the early game.
Yeah.
But Jarex is the one playing the Monkey King.
Yep, most likely, and that'll be Fly's Disruptor. So double support pick to open things. Disruptor's kind of cool. Just should allow them to really pressure Lina easily on the mid lane if Tusk isn't always there to cover her. So I think maybe that's one of their thoughts here. Get Lina behind. When Lina's behind, she's actually a pretty bad hero if she gets gank pressured a lot. Delays the Bloodstone. Sometimes they feel they have to go for like a Yule Scepter instead to die less. But getting into that kind of position is really tough for her. On the bright side, she still farms well, even if she dies repeatedly. Because all you really need is levels.
Yeah.
A little bit of mana, maybe. But
and then she's coming back in with that 30-second respawn reduction as well later on.
But if there's no Bloodstone on top of that, then that benefit turns into something a lot less.
Yeah.
So maybe that's OG's thought here. Control their heroes. They're still in a Abaddon in the game. Disruptor has been seen as good against that. So maybe they're slightly covering bases in that way as well.
Yeah, the Alchemist ban, I mean, it's always interesting to see what people ban out against. OG, as said yesterday, they banned full out against Jarex. With the supports already picked up, we have an Ana hero banned. Are there any more heroes that you would be just worried about in general that you don't want OG to play? I mean, the Alchemist is a fairly general hero, fit in a lot of different drafts, and it's mostly always good to have on a team, especially with Monkey King. The early game is already sorted for, and then you're just delaying for the Alchemist. But
my first thought was Invoker, but Tusk is okay against that in some ways. You can dodge Sunstrikes. They're also kind of lacking setup disables, so maybe that's not the pick. I think the crucial hero that's going to really fit OG's draft together is probably their offlane hero, so I feel like they'll grab that as their next pick. Something that can ideally combo disable. Centaur or something like that would have been great. Maybe Nyx is still a really, really good option against things like Lina. Can be fantastic.
We've seen S4 play quite a few axes. Is that an option? I mean, it's somewhat of a disable. Or
I'm not
is it
sure if I like Axe against Tusk. It's okay against Lina, but kind of bad as well. I'm not sold on it just yet here.
Yeah, No-Tail's Terrorblade is the other one removed. We still have No-Tail's Lifestealer. Never mind, No-Tail.
No Tail's every hero. That guy can play like anything.
This is true, but mostly we've seen him on Lifestealer and Terrorblade lately. But Lifestealer is banned out by themselves as well. So, can't have that. We'll see.
He played a Troll last night. That could work too. A little bit less good against Lina, though, with all of her burst damage. But once you get a BKB, it's definitely very safe. But getting to that point can be tough. So they ban Weaver, lacking, maybe thinking they're going to lack disables.
When you have a Tusk roaming around on the enemy team and you have a Monkey King for yourself, do you need Disruptor to be extra free to roam around as well and help out? Or is he fine sticking on the lane, supporting a bit more greedy carry? Or
he's fine. I think Disruptor as a support kind of needs to stay in the lane the first like 3 minutes, get level 2, 3, 4, something like that. And then you can definitely participate more. And I think Monkey King's a better roamer anyway, so I think it's totally fine if Disruptor just sticks in his lane. The Warlock pick definitely gives VTJ more laning options, although they're pressurable, but it's also a good team fight on top of that. So I think it's a good pick. Maybe it prevents slightly something like a Slardar coming out of OG. I think Slardar could certainly work.
For the offlane?
Yep, for their offlane.
We've not seen a lot of 3 Slardars. We've seen him as support or a 4 position.
Yeah, that's definitely true. But I feel like it can work okay against Warlock. Maybe not the best against Tusk, but when you're against a Tusk, you kind of want AoE disables anyways, or AoE spells. That way, if he does actually grab somebody in the snowball, you just line him up for you. Free vacuum.
That is true. I think we've only seen mostly Darkseer coming out from EG so far. Universe, the Darkseer play. They're taking their time. I'm surprised that both teams seem to kind of throw each other off a bit.
Yeah, I think that's definitely what's happened. I think they would have no doubt looked at their drafts from the first 2 days and kind of figured out where they might go with the drafts. And I think both teams have deviated from that to try something a little bit different. I mean, I did say it's the time that they can do that if they want to do it right now. There's no risk to either team. Both are going to finish roughly where they are anyway. OG are already qualified in first in the group. VGJ can't make it through to the top 2. So now or never, really, I guess. The Troll Warlord is something we have seen from OG already in this tournament.
Yeah, it's honestly pretty good here. The ulti combo with Monkey King to get Jingo Mastery up faster. You just buy a lot of stat items, get tanky. Maybe at some point grab a BKB. I think he's good against Warlock. He's not the best against Lina, but considering he's good against Warlock and I would say good against Tusk, I think it's a good pick here. And that plus Troll plus Disruptor ulti, that's enough time usually to get kills, because what Troll's really lacking in a lot of cases is preventing people from casting spells on him, usually solved by BKB, or preventing them from moving so he can actually stand there, build up his fervor stacks, and get some bashes in. So if they do actually grab Lina in some of these glimpse combos, I feel like the fight's looking pretty straightforward for OG in a lot of ways.
And with looking straightforward, that also means that BGJ knows exactly what to expect. So they pick up the Ember Spirit. Should be elusive enough. They pick it into a Disruptor though, and that... It feels like OG already has a way to deal with that.
They do a little, but I think it's a good pick just because it's very magic heavy. I think Ember definitely goes Veiled this game. Troll is going to have a lot of problems dealing with how much burst there is at some point. If you're against Lina, Tusk, Ember, and if he gets Fatal Bonds to his teammates are really sad because Troll's just going to spread damage to everybody. So they definitely have some solutions with Disruptor, but I think the Ember is a good pick here, and their Disable's not that great.
How is VGJ going to lane this? Because Ember Spirit generally goes mid, but Lina, I mean, that means that you have a Tusk core.
I've seen a couple. Was that what was that hand animation?
JRX jumping up and down for joy. I don't know.
I thought it was a Rasta Shadow Shaman thing. Like, oh, they're going to pick Rasta. He's casting shackles.
JRX and No-Tail having a bit of fun in the OG player area.
What was the question again, Shiver?
How are they going to lane this, VGJ?
Yeah, I've seen a couple Ember Spirit safe lanes the last couple days, like 1 or 2. So I think that's their goal here. It'd be all right. They'll have Warlock to cover it, so any one of the lackings of Ember is going to be covered a bit there. So I think it'll be fine. Definitely their team fight's quite good. Warlock, Ember, Lina, Tusk, that looks pretty scary. If somebody's out of position, they die. If it's just a 5v5 fight, it looks okay for VGJ.
Would you say that if it is a 5v5 fight, I think OG looks pretty scary though.
They do, but it's kind of very reliant on how many heroes Nyx stuns or Disruptor ultis. That's where most of their value comes from. Their team looks a lot more like gank across the map and maybe split. They're not even that good at split pushing. Nyx is mediocre, Disruptor's kind of bad, Monkey King's kind of bad. It's definitely one of the issues on OG's draft right now.
Well, Nyx at least has the catch. I mean, we did talk about getting the kills in with the Bat Rider picked up. That means that we have
Core Bat Rider, I guess.
a core Bat Rider.
Which would mean core Nyx as well.
Nyx mid? Bat mid?
I guess
What's happening?
Bat mid versus Lina. Nyx off
Try
lane.
lane mid.
Maybe the other way around. I'm not completely
Try
sure.
try mid.
I mean, who needs a Disruptor in this game? If anybody, everybody can go solo. Disruptor has nothing to do. He can rotate. So is he going to
You
go
can
off lane
chill.
with someone else?
You can chill.
He can chill?
You can safe lane. They can try. I think it's gonna be. I feel like it's gonna be Nyx Monkey King would be much better than doing Bat versus Lina. I feel like that has more kill potential, but but it's obviously harder to lane. But I feel like the goal is to Monkey King roam plus Nyx. I feel like that's the move.
All right.
Right.
I'm going to put you on the spot. Normally, we get this before the draft. You have to pick before the draft. I'm going to put you on the spot right now, very quickly. Purge, which way is this going?
I'm gonna cop out and say OG because they're the better team. Easy.
All right, 2-0
I think they're the
for
better
OG.
team as well. I believe in VG. I'll go for VGJ. Let's go RTK.
A 2-0.
No. Are we doing the?
We're
no,
doing the whole series.
Oh no!
Yeah, I gave you the draft
No.
extra. So Shiva says VGG.
I
It
want a
says it on
tie.
the
Locked
screen.
in.
I want
Move
a
on.
It says it
tie.
on the screen.
I
Move
want
on.
a tie.
Screen cannot lie.
Can I do that? Yeah, there, tie. Thanks.
Production, you are far too kind to Shiva. She said VGJ. She should make her stick to it. Shiva says tie, 1-1. And Purge has gone for a 2-0. Let's find out as we head into our first game. We've also refreshed our commentary team in the booth. So we welcome back Fogged and Dakota. Take it away, boys.
Thank you so much, Paul. Here we are, Fogged, VGJ versus OG. Most would say, obviously, OG heavy favorites in this one. But we got to speak a little bit with OG this morning over some breakfast, and I have a lot of respect for them. Ebony says, we're respecting VGJ in this. Yes, they're mathematically going to be guaranteed into the lower bracket, but seeding to them does matter, and we want to give them that kind of respect. But look at their draft. Are they really giving them that kind of respect? What's the cores? Bat Rider, Nyx, Troll Warlord?
Yeah, those three are definitely the three cores. The one thing is that they are trying stuff out. Talking to them over in the lunchroom and stuff over the previous days, Jerax has been asking for Monkey King. He's been saying it over and over again to Fly, and Fly's been like, But now they are secured through. This is where they're able to try to experiment a little bit. Not in a disrespectful way, but just because they're through. They might as well, right? Like, what's the point in not doing it? So letting Jerax get a little bit of practice on this hero. I also do like the way that they built their draft. They now have the Nyx Assassin to counter the Ember Spirit and the Lina. So Ember and Lina are going to be, we can actually take a look at who's going to be playing them quickly as well. So the Ember Spirit is going to be on aggressive, and it looks like he might be going toward mid.
Mid with it? Yeah, I mean, most would find the safe lane the more unorthodox position, but
looks like a safe lane Lina based off of his item build.
Very unorthodox altogether here, it looks like already for VGJ.
But yeah, they already have the so the Nyx Assassin is going to be in the mid lane from Ana, and he's starting with the Poor Man's Shield.
Okay.
So the Nyx Assassin is very good both versus two of the major cores on the side of Vici, the Lina and the Ember Spirit. So he does have a lot of different ways to catch for that. And we have one of OG players on one of his most signature heroes that he's probably played one of the most, the Bat Rider, S4.
Yeah, he's gotten to already have a good showcase on his Magnus yesterday. Also notoriously known for his Bat Rider. We'll see what he can pull out here. Shouts, of course, to Wepas, who's going to be our obs for this one. But just to take it back a couple of notes what you were saying. First pick Monkey King immediately got me giggling. I already know and probably overpraised Jerax for how solid he is on his Earth Spirit, probably being the best in the game. So you give him a fun hero like Monkey King, and I just hope he can bring some new tech or be a little bit innovative. Show us something funky that maybe other Monkey King players haven't done yet, because right now it's all been about like Miposhka and Baboka and what they've been able to bring. But
here's one strat, right? Get a courier, so turn yourself into a courier so you're faster, so you can block the mid wave better. There you go.
Okay, that's some new tech I'm talking about.
That's a little bit, but it's a nice little cheeky play. OG does get two nice aggressive wards in the enemy jungle, so they're able to watch the movements from the Tusk, and the Monkey King's able to play around that if Jerax does want to. S4 does, as we see, pull the wave, so he's going to be able to get himself a nice double creep wave for himself if he times it properly.
Just classic S4 here.
Yep.
We are seeing Jarek rotate towards that top lane now, and ROTK, as we saw yesterday, and can get a bit susceptible to being in the laning phase. In fact, a lot of the games, they straight up had to sack the lane and just put ROTK straight into the jungle. So he knows he could be especially a bit vulnerable in this particular game, and they have to keep a watch out. But it looks like they've been able to ping Jarek's nearby, as Warlock will rotate over to help ROTK.
I like this adjustment already. Last night we were a bit like, we were watching Vici and we were like, man, they just seem very disconnected with each other. There seems to be some stuff going on. But a lot of that actually was because in the laning phase, ROTK a lot of the games was going just straight to the jungle. So the supports from Empire were allowed to just do kind of whatever they wanted. This time they have a different approach. They're contesting the safe lane, forcing the supports to stay up there. So they can actually just predict, they know what the lanes are going to be like, and they know that they have what they want as the setup.
Yeah, it's just so weird to see like a time when you think back, Vici Gaming, FY Fenrir, these guys were the bullies of the early game, shuffling, rotating through the lanes, being a presence, and we were witnessing them like at least the last day or so feel a bit more passive and reserved, kind of dealing with the situations as they develop. Here, putting more of an assertive tone in the laning phase seems to be a good uplifting note for Vici J rather, heading out of the gate. So, well, S4 is got a quick level 2
He's got
here.
6 stacks on FY already, but they do have a lot of burst damage to be able to bring him down. He has to be a little bit careful in the way he positions himself. So does FY. If he stands on the Firefly for too long, he might just burn down quickly. Snowball coming through. He's got a lot of stacks on him, though, but they are able to bring him down first.
Very nice. Now, he will get the return burn kill, but obviously the XP boost going to be going the way for Freeze on this one, and VGJ securing the first blood makes it all the sweeter here.
It's a lane that we haven't really seen too often, but Tusk Lina, there's an immense amount of burst, and you have the setup for the Lina. So S4 does have to be a little bit careful in the way he plays in the aggression. But I think he got what he wanted, you know. It doesn't really matter if he dies at the end there. He unfortunately doesn't get the experience, but at least he forces the wave, you know. He forced him to go on him, so the wave equilibrium gets messed up, and now he gets a double creep wave coming under his tower. So very important for S4 to be doing that. And he's going to be sticking to this. He's not going to resort to the jungle. He puts a bottle into his quick buy, so he's going to keep just pressuring that lane, force the Tusk to stay there.
After an unfortunate misspell, some Kale on the keyboard here. Vegan problems, I guess. No Tail is going to get back into the action, and we'll see Jarek's rotate back up towards his top lane. ROTK has been able to kind of manipulate and pressure the pull camp a bit, but this time they're looking to maybe punish him. He's been able to kind of pull some of the creeps out and towards his side. It doesn't look like they're going to glimpse him back or go for any sort of setup.
Yeah, only level 2.
Yeah.
Not having the glimpse skilled up just yet. Jarek's only level 1. They don't really have the greatest amount of chase potential just yet.
But attention totally pulled away from No Tail. He'll get the lane to work with here, and Fly can just kind of be the babysitter and scout out. I'm wondering if Jarek's is going to continue to plant himself here, or if he'll eventually try to make course elsewhere and maybe pressure the mid lane, because how is that panning out right now? Ana versus aggressive. Ana is up
very
18
well.
and 2, 17 and 1, etching a bit ahead, but in a matchup we don't get to see very often, it is looking pretty nice. Plus, look at this full wave going to be under the tower for Ana too.
Yep.
Very nice.
Definitely very well played from Ana. You might see Empress pull a little bit ahead in this matchup, but the natural base regen of the Nyx Assassin allows you to be able to stand your ground toe-to-toe for the most part, as long as you're pulling the creep equilibrium as he does use his Flame Guard so you don't get burned too much. That being said, Freeze in the bottom lane is actually struggling a bit on the CS department. The stickies are actually messing with his turn rate a good amount, and them going for the kill, missing a couple creep waves. He's only sitting at 8 on the safe lane Lina. ROTK right now getting some pressure done on him. They don't have Glimpse, no they do, they have mana. He's got Fenrir there too for some backup heals.
Yeah. ROTK is obviously going to be able to shrug off a lot of the trouble. The Fatal Bond's even doing some good damage there onto Fly. He'll have to sidestep it a bit as he waits for the 4-minute bounty rune to pop up. So getting back to this mid lane at Nyx Assassin, refresh, I've not been able to see it too often here. Where do you go? Like, what's the next step for it? Because you can obviously get a quick build up to your level 6. He's already level 5. Is it putting that Vendetta to use right away and maybe look for some setups on other lanes, or do you just take advantage of the lane while you got it?
They can just take advantage of the lane. They can come to his lane and gank for him.
That's true.
It's really dependent on where they want to make the moves with the first rotation from the supports. He's going to be going for treads too, so he's going for that scaling type of build already, rather than going for like Arcane Boots, which you do see very common on the Nyx. That's like a support or offlane thing. He's mid. He wants to be able to transition. He wants to be able to do damage. We'll probably see him go for, I mean, this is much later on, but the agility talent and all that. We'll get there when we get there, though.
Yeah, that'll be interesting because there's that kind of spellcaster backup. We'll have to see what kind of options he does favor here. S4, level 4.5 or so at about 5 minutes in. Maybe not as high in mind as he'd like to be with the solo lane, but as he steps on forward, scouts out FY. Gets a few spells, but the creeps will be pulled back towards his tower here a bit.
Yeah, force the Firefly. Get him out of there.
Ooh. Gotta be careful there. Does have the bottle, though. Builds it back up a bit, but Nothing to be too concerned with here. Free still also sporting a level 4, but okay. Did I speak too soon? Snowball in with a Dragon Slave, and that's all it takes. Ooh.
Immense amount of burst damage, and he doesn't have a raindrop picked up on S4, so he doesn't have that able to nullify it. We'll probably see him, if he wants to keep contesting that lane, we'll probably see him pick up a raindrop soon, just so he isn't able to just get bursted down so heavily from that heavy nuke damage that they do have.
Good little pounce right there from VGJ, and they edge ahead now 2-1. Since then, Jarex had rotated through that bottom lane, gave a scouting ward, and it looks like a courier kill.
Oh, S4 again.
But at that same moment, Snowball in for S4, and they're going to get a second kill back-to-back. Jarex does get the finish on that courier at the same time. He'd been adventuring in those woods, getting that ward down, but yeah, nice swing both ways. Top lane, ROTK now in a bit of trouble, but jumping on in is going to be aggressive. Latches down the chains, onto Fly. Can they get the finish? It looks like they will. One more right click will come out, and it's going to be aggressive who secures it. 4-1. Nice little hot start here for VGJ.
Very nice rotation by aggressive. It's literally as soon as the Ember Spirit hit 6, he went toward top and just instantly makes the rotation to just gank the safe lane, putting pressure onto OG.
Yeah, even also getting what looked like a few licks on the no-tail possibly will take away that pull camp and return his business to the mid lane, I'm sure. There he goes with the TP. But at that moment, maybe Ana has stepped away from the mid lane, and now they're going to be the team possibly looking for an opening, and it looks like down here in the bottom lane, hoping for a grab, I'm sure, onto Lady Lena. But he's also crossing paths with a nearby support. It's FY. Does he need a +1? It looks like they're hoping to get Jarex over.
They want to get the bigger priority kill. They want to get freeze here. They do have a offensive ward placed from Jarex earlier when he did snipe that courier, so they saw FY rotating in.
He's trying to pump fake, but with the jump in,
here.
Nice snowball. But he will eventually roll into Jarex. They look to turn it back. Fly can't quite get the connection with the kinetic field. S4 steps in with the flight. FY is just drawing their attention all the way away from the Lena. It looks like he eventually should go down, but you know, OG were not able to get that more precious prized pick on the Lena. So
took him a bit longer than they wanted. A couple spells off the mark.
Yeah, leaves a little bit extra time for aggressive there in the mid lane, and obviously for OTK in the top lane to only be dealing with the 1v1 against No-Tail, which it looks like he's been pretty happy to kind of get in the face with No-Tail.
Yeah, he can do just fine in that matchup since No-Tail did have like the tri-lane split of experience where ROTK was only dual splitting it. They're tied up in levels, so they can both stand toe-to-toe versus each other.
So would you say right now this is seeming like a win for VGJ in the laning phase? I mean,
slight. It's
very
slight. Just the only thing is just because of S4 is a couple that extra death in the bottom lane, that secondary one where he tried to go very aggressive on top of freeze. That one was a little bit quite a big mistake by S4, but he's just trying to force experience, force pressure.
All right, level 6s are just about to come online for some of those side lane cores, but here comes OG with a rotation up here to the top lane. It looks like they have 4 at attendance here to try to get something done.
Under a ward.
Yeah, and already stepping back in a way is VGJ as they will avoid the trouble altogether here. But look at this, it's aggressive rotating up there, so maybe they're going to hope to bait ROTK out and see if they can capitalize on that.
Oh, that's
a nifty ward.
That's a new one.
Straight on the side chop. It will spot ROTK. Jarex frantically jumps back out. I think ROTK is really trying to bait this one between him and Fenrir. Now aggressive steps in, and there goes the Remnant. He's looking to get the grab onto Fly. Yeah, and as mentioned, with the chains missing, he'll just send him right back packing.
Oh, that's a lot of wasted time for aggressive. That's like a minute, over a minute that he was kind of just waiting there as well. And I think they expended a smoke as well when he was sitting in the back line, so.
He just stops and he's like, I'll just kind of try to find some farm with the jungle nearby and eventually rotate back to the mid lane. But a missed opportunity for VGJ. Now it's Ana back on the move, gets hit with the LSA, then the shards. He's like, do they know I'm here? No, they don't. But he does end up moving past them, and he's looking for the setup play, but you know,
Sentry's down.
Oh, they just popped the sentry. He's going to look to run back. The snowball's already going to be there, though. They turn it back.
He gets the
carapace. Reflects it right back in her face. Wonderfully played there from Ana, and they're going to get the kill. And mid lane, they will end up losing their precious Jarex Monkey King because aggressive will be able to slash him apart. But
ouch,
favorable trade for OG on that one.
Yeah, Freeze just, I mean, the snowball duration, the stun of the snowball is very low on early levels. It's only 0.75, so he didn't have the timing window to get the Laguna, but Ana, with the preemptive play to pop the carapace and just gets a perfect reflect. Nice pickup there for him. Solo pickup as well. It's very important.
Pings out bottom lane. I believe we do have a lasso now onto the Batrider, but they're going to be the ones making the move. Trying to tie up S4. Shards blast past him.
Laguna still on cooldown.
Yep.
S4 knows this.
He's feeling a bit frisky here. Backups on the way in the form of the Jarex Monkey King. Fly is getting toasted up here, but so is S4.
Yeah, FY almost dropped that one. Very close. Luckily that he had the 6 sticks charges to put himself into survivable region with 40 HP.
He's still hanging there. Highest net worth still belongs to Ana on this one, with Aggressive just kind of nipping behind. No Tail had been still residing in that top lane, continuing his grind to farm. And has the phase boots for now and is looking to truck on forward into your more traditional build-up. Nothing too surprising here.
Yeah, just the phase Vlads that we've been seeing majority of players do.
But things do get exciting once you get that ultimate online with a Monkey King ult, I'd imagine. So we'll see what kind of global presence they're going to be able to have. Lots of setup potential. Jarek's kind of flying through the trees on a Vendetta, and then that global pressure from the Troll. OG have strong kill potential as we begin to creep into the mid game here. Yeah,
that's actually, you reminded me of something I was going to touch on during the draft. That was another reason why I really liked the way OG's draft was set up, is they have a lot of different ways of vision to be able to just scout where Vici's movements are. And Vici has a very team fight oriented lineup. Just looking at them, of course, the Legion Commander and the Ember can kind of go for these type of pickoffs, but for the most part, it is a very team fight oriented one. And with the Monkey King and Nyx Assassin and Bat Rider kind of scouting you out, OG might be able to pick and choose when they want to take fights and when they want to just be like, okay, let's just go for pickoffs, force reaction, split push, and go for maybe roast trades or something with the Troll.
Got to give VTJ's lineup credit, though. It looks like they do have some good counterfight in there. I mean, imagine a dramatic rock turnaround, a snowball clutch play. I mean, they could turn fights around very easily here. The flying courier, monkey courier, hiding and scouting, slowly sees a certain little Fenrir here.
Scouting everybody.
Ana also creeping in. You're talking about the vision here. OG put it to display, seeing a lone little Warlock all by himself, but do they know the other Vici members nearby? Now FY shows himself. Little do they know, they are under the watchful eye of OG.
Freeze is already out, too. These guys are going to get dove. FY and Fenrir.
Is it safe to show ourselves in the daylight? They come out under the tower, but this is just feeling like sharks in water right now.
OG's like, are we getting baited?
It's like,
are we getting really baited? What's going on here?
No, can we get this done fast enough? Will they be able to TP in and counterplay us?
They've got 5 down there now, though. This is definitely going to be the aggressive move coming in for them in a second here. As soon as this wave pushes
I feel like I'm watching Nat Geo right now. Will they just eventually pounce onto their prey? Yes, they will. The move is made for Fenrir. Can they burst him in due time? They drop down the beautiful Stag Storm right onto the head of the rotating in forces from VTJ. Aggressive might be barely able to make it out from this one. The duel's already going to be committed. It's ROTK trying to hold on, trying to get the Jarek's kill. They will be able to burst him down, but ROTK will lose his own life. It's a 3-for-2 trade at this moment. Ana caught under the tower, eating some pot chops, while Aggressive is trying to hide and avoid S4 here. S4 trying to dish out the stacks. Look at this buyback party beginning to come out from Vici as they try to rotate in to make redemption out of it. They do end up losing out on their precious Ember, but then they'll finally get the S4 down. What a ridiculous, long-winded fight, all under and behind that tower.
They don't get at the objective, though. They don't even pressure the objective, really. It's a full HP. That was actually a very clutch press the attack by ROTK in that fight, though. Aggressive got lassoed. It got instantly pressed the attack off, and he actually ends up surviving for quite a lot longer. They don't really end up netting themselves any other kills for mid, other than the S4 Bat Rider who dove to try to get Aggressive. But yeah, there's a pretty formidable defense coming out from Vici, knowing that OG had all 5 heroes, and Freeze was not there. Freeze was like, he bailed right before anything even happened. He was just like, peace out, Fenrir. Good luck, FY. I'm out.
Like, this is fishy. But how many buyback? 2 buybacks for that? Return play, I believe?
I do believe it was just FY.
Oh, just FY's buyback. Yeah. Okay.
Which is, I mean, he gets more from coming back at this. It's so early in the game. The buybacks are so cheap. He gets a lot of experience for picking up that S4 Bat Rider kill. Definitely worth it for him.
Now I'm going to think big picture here. What do you think about late game? Because you're talking about OG not being able to kind of get the objective done. Should they be pressuring to get these objectives done? Are they the team with the weaker late game and that they don't want this one to really pan out further? Or do you think that they should still feel pretty confident sporting what feels like almost a single core Troll?
They have pretty good high ground defense, and they actually have objective takers. They have the Troll to take buildings and to take Roche, while you look at Vici's, they don't really have that great of building hitter. It's what, it's the Lina and the Legion Commander.
Jarek jumps to a tree. It gets immediately taken down. He's insta-stunned and insta-killed.
First duel, ROTK, first showing of the Blink Dagger.
Wow. Quick hit and run right there in the top lane, and OG look for a response here. Rotations come out, smoke from the 4 as they begin to head up north.
So we kind of thought that Aggressive was going to go for the Veil build because of the massive amount of magic damage that his team does have. But okay, as I'm speaking that, we'll
hold that theory because they've already made moves. Hog tying up ROTK just after he gets his first duel. They'll duel onto him and finish him off. Ooh, the shards barely missed the connection onto the proper no-tail target. On the other side, Anna, good carapace onto aggressive, but now they turn their sights onto him. Here comes Jarex trying to jump in, but no, the tree goes down and he gets stunned.
S4 cut his teammate's tree.
Now they're able to get a good glimpse back, looking to go for FY. They drop down the static storm onto his head. The stun's going to miss that mark, but will catch onto Freeze.
This is awkward for OG. They're
Super awkward,
yeah,
but they will be
out.
able to make it back to the high ground and avoid the extra pressure here. A lot of swings from both sides, but how many go down? One at the end of the day?
Yeah, it was just ROTK in the beginning of the fight, and that was it. But Warlock ult was expended, and they had to use Static Storm and the Vendetta, which are much lower cooldowns with that. I think OG's pretty happy with them not really losing any heroes after that kind of weird scenario.
Jump in on which good stun connection. ROTK had just gotten back from that previous takedown, and they're going to look to bring him down once again, and they do. Rotations in. FY could also be the next target as he's snowballing in through this mid lane. Meanwhile, a chase on for Fenrir here. Anna in pursuit, moves in, swings once, gets the connection on the second time. Carapace looking to go for the stun on Aggressive, but Aggressive gets the finish onto Jarex. Now they're looking back for Anna, and they'll get that one too. Double kill for Aggressive on this mark. S4 will head out the other side, and it's going to be a promising trade for Vici J as they go 2 for 1.
Oh, these are the dream games, dude. 11 to 10, it's 15 minutes. We just have kills nonstop back and forth. Everybody's just running at each other, constant aggression. Even when the ults aren't up, this is just really good Dota right now coming out from these guys just running at each other. I mean, by good Dota, I mean entertaining Dota.
Non-Alchemist Dota.
Non-Alchemist Dota. Very good words coming out from OG, so they're always able to like read the plays that are kind of coming out from Vici there. They're always kind of getting the vision around the Roche pit. You can tell that they're setting up the fight there. Look at this replay really quickly here. OTK, unfortunately, gets brought down right after he respawns. FY tries to go for an aggressive play here. Fly makes a play on the left side here. Anna actually here holding his stun. He gets actually the 2-man stun onto Freeze, but Aggressive coming in with that nice triple remnant, able to clean up while S4 cleans up Freeze as well.
Fenrir got a decent fatal bonds, and it did soften up OG a lot, but they just didn't have any way to kind of get those clutch finishes. I mean, losing one of their DPS at the start of the fight certainly doesn't help, but...
and we did just miss Jarex actually dying in the mid lane too. Aggressive just with a haste rune runs in and just brings him down very quickly.
Oh.
So, as I was touching on, Aggressive is not going for the Veil whatsoever. He went rush for the bots so that he could get involved in the fights as quickly as possible, and then he's going back for a Blade Mail.
Okay.
So being able to
deal with a little bit of new.
Yeah, a little to deal with that raw physical damage from the Troll Warlord, he's able to just pop the Blade Mail.
I like that.
It's pretty good.
Okay, here comes OG now. Creeping on in. FY, close. Dropping down the ward here to get some extra vision. Peeking into that mid lane. FY Fenrir, the dynamic duo. Oh god, Fenrir does get spotted. They hit him with a Thunder Strike. They could glimpse him back into a safer spot to go for the finish, but they decide to commit on in.
Static Storm.
That Static Storm right on top of the head of both him and FY will allow for the easy double finish. Did I speak too soon? Turn back Snowball, jumping for RTK, but the Carapace stun locks him in his place, but they'll still get the finish of the dual damage going the way of RTK, but he will not survive much longer. They will be able to slash him down. Turn around from Aggressive though, stepping in, securing a mega kill streak as he slashes back onto OG and now runs right back at him. It's going to be S4 stepping off once again with no tail as it's a 3 for 3.
The place that they took the fight, though, I mean, it's a 3 for 3 trade, but they're not getting the objective that they want. Like, they want to be able to set up for those kills, get the kills nice and freely, and then pressure the tower easily. But that's not happening because Vici's responding instantly, and now Warlock ult's going to be up again. Yeah,
I was going to say that was also done without the benefit of the rock, too. I mean, Vici are very good at just getting quickly at attendance and being able to take strong counterfights. So
yeah, I had thought that they were going to glimpse him back so that they took the fight in a little bit of a different position here, but...
Can't fault them, though. They get the beautiful double Static Storm. RTK's waiting on the outside, and then Freeze is able to come in cleanly. FY takes a bit too long to go down, but at that point, it just gets a bit awkward for OG.
That Carapace again onto the Lagoon. I did see that Weapus was trying to indicate that to us during the fight as well.
Aggressive hitting him from behind right there also just really hurt. Gets a good shot in. And now look at this. ROTK, adamant, right to the Monkey King. Flexes his muscle as now he's sporting a sweet 30 extra damage. Okay.
Anna with a 3-man stun.
Mini Ravage right there from Anna. Finds himself in chains though. Right under the tower. Rock going to be committed for it. Okay. Anna steps back. So I guess they're going to like, oh, we got the rock out. Let's go for the tier 2. OG
they don't really have
this one.
They don't have good building hitters though. I don't think that they can really go for this one too easily. There's Glimpse too. They really have to watch the way that they go for this pressure here.
They're in that kind of awkward spot where they just got to make the most of the situation they're in here. Anna.
Nice press the attack again by RTK.
Cancels out the stun on Aggressive here. They go back and they're now barely able to get the tower down to half of its life, but now the jump's going to be made from S4, getting a commitment on for FY. Pull back. Stack Storm going to be dropped from Fly. Now they move in, trying to get the finish on Aggressive, and they'll zap him down. Lagoon on the other side almost gets the finish. They'll finally get the grab. It's no tail on the other front. Going to get dropped, and now FY finds S4, gets the uppercut, going for the TP. Do they have a glimpse? Doesn't need it anyways. They'll be able to finish him off.
So a 4 for 1. Well, 4 for 2 because Jarex dies right in the beginning earlier, and then Freeze actually had to use his Bloodstone Suicide. So kind of 4 for 1 trade, but yeah, great front from OG. Jarex coming in from the left side, forcing the fight into like this weird like Venn diagram that we do see. We saw the Monkey King ult come out, and then the Disruptor ult right next to it, so that like Venn diagram of doom.
Even though so crazy.
Even though Fly's Static Storm actually wasn't like perfect, it did the damage that was proper to get the Ember Spirit locked down.
There's so many different like battle zones, especially for
really
Vici,
is
that they
battle
have to
zones.
avoid. Like, oh god, Stack Storm over there, and oh god, Monkey King ult over there.
And there's
Where?
Firefly on the ground over here. Watch out, guys!
There's nowhere safe to fight. Everywhere is lava. It's making it really tough for them to find a good comfort zone to kind of, you know, rally as a team and be able to turn it around. And, you know, at this point, it does look like OG have been able to kind of reclaim the net worth advantage. Handing over a fair amount of kills on the side of Jarex. Didn't help earlier in the game, but now they're being able to bring it back. Still have plenty of objectives ahead of them to get taken care of. Mid-tier 1, top-tier 1 still stand. OG have had a lot of trouble being able to follow up these skirmishes, and here we see a bit of a deja vu. Back at mid lane we go for OG.
They've had very good vision this entire time around this mid area near the Roche pit too. They're really just trying to they're trying to get like a big fight to be able to claim this tier 1 mid and then go straight for the Roshan.
Oh, they drop
Ana
a sentry.
Gets spotted.
And he makes it back. Okay. Just lurking on their side. No ideal opening for OG. They have pulled Vici at total attendance towards this mid lane, dragging away from any sort of free farm off to the side. Finally, Freeze will step off and go the other direction, but now it's No-Tail and Aggressive swinging a bit. Aggressive will peace out back towards that mid lane. And Vici probably consider moving forward down that lane a bit to see if they can grab any OG members. It's Jarex nearby, up in the tree. ROTK jumps towards the Ancient camp here, spots out Jarex and actually goes for the duel. They have the Shrine nearby for the TPs, but it's going to be S4 jumping in, looking to go for the lasso. The burst will be there from Aggressive to go for the finish. The rock's going to get dropped, coming out from Vici. OG step back a bit, but No-Tail moving in, goes for the finish on ROTK, gets hit with the Laguna, tries to run back out, gets trapped within the shards, and will end up getting taken down. Ana now looking to move in, actually
Stun
misses
off the
on
mark.
the stun, and has to
fight for
blink out
Vici.
to Safety. It's going to be Aggressive with a double kill. Hoping to get maybe a little bit more, but strong fight for Vici.
Fight almost looked a bit awkward for a second, but then, yeah, the Static Storm not being on the mark, Aggressive being able to jump over it. They just were able to fight because of the response and where the fight was taken, right next to a shrine. They're able to just all TP in and take the fight. So he would get a chance to look at this again. Duel coming out, TP's coming in. Lasso coming through. Ice Shards kind of isolates, but see, the Static Storm wasn't able to really grab anybody.
Yeah.
Beautiful Rock coming out, and then Aggressive in the back lines here, able to clean up. Now
Okay.
S4 going for a little bit of harassment onto Freeze.
So when you know you have a good game is that right after a replay, there's already more action happening. Here we go, shift back after S4 makes a bit of assertive move through the bottom lane. Now could find himself in a set of trouble. Aggressive blinking in. Ana's there to help out. Steps in with the stun, but ROTK, he wants more. Can he get him? No, suddenly No-Tail shows up. Hits him right in the face with a tomahawk and says, get the hell back.
All of OG's rotating. Is Ana going to be able to set something up? No, they decide to just pack up.
Man, these teams are throwing down.
Vici's responding very well to the aggression, though. OG's making extremely aggressive moves, maybe in some places that they probably don't want to be picking the fights, maybe being a little bit sloppy, a little bit adventurous, but Vici responding very well to every single time, bringing 4 or 5 heroes. Freeze. Spotted by Ana.
Hit. Can he get the finish here?
With the troll ult.
Yes!
With the troll plus
ulti.
Agi treads.
Gets it done. Superior pick there, taking out Freeze, taking down more of those charges.
It's a
ROTK
big chunk of money, too.
on the prowl does not like that.
As they want to be, because you're playing and you never claim your tower in the top lane. You actually never even have tower, and the mid tower is pretty healthy as well. So they're not really getting to like claim those objectives and claim themselves the opportunities to go for the Roshan, because when the tier 1s are up, it gives Vici a lot more options to be able to contest that. Even though there is the shrines, of course, as well, it does. You want to be able to close that map control just a little bit so you get access points into their jungle.
Okay, back in the mid lane we go. Moving in immediately. Jumping onto S4. No, that was Fly. Going to get hit with the nice setup there from FY with the Walrus Punch. Stack Storm will be dropped. But,
didn't expect the Blink Dagger, I don't believe.
Yeah.
The instant initiation coming out. Both Aggressive and FY having blinks now.
Nice little debut there for him. Over on the other side, Ana and Jerix stalk him a bit. Are they thinking about moving in and going for the Rosh? It looks like it here. It's ROTK who has to be kind of doing all the dirty work inside with Freeze.
They don't kill that Rosh too quickly, though. I don't think they can really do this one.
So I think they'll opt to pull away here. OJ will be able to rotate over.
That's
okay. Snowball back in for mid lane. They have Ana moving in with the duel with the uppercut. They'll get it done.
They keep losing a lot of heroes in that one spot.
Yeah.
Ana and Fly back-to-back deaths right there. Now Vici's like, okay, now we kind of have a window maybe to go into the Rosh pit.
Lots of farm here as we see the No-Tail supporting the highest net worth, farming the bottom lane during all the meanwhile. I think OG are still considering this. S4 Bat Rider always has something to say as far as Roshes go, but can he find his way to get close enough? They're already able to kind of zone him back. Do they dare go for this? Long bump of the flame break. I think they're going to just see this one out.
No, without Ana, without their mid laner, it's just a bit too risky to go in like that. They don't really have the disable without him. I mean, it's pretty much completely relying on Fly landing a clutch static storm kinetic.
Oh, they want more. Ana. They want to make a fight happen here. They get the chains, but the force creates the bit of space there for Fly to avoid the trouble. This is frisky stuff right now. VGJ, it's not like, oh, we got the Roshos backpedal a bit. They get it, and they're like, let's take fights now. And they move in. Double chain setup from Aggressive. They turn around with a Static Storm. Helps a bit here. They might be able to get the lockdown finish for OTK, and they will. A one-for-one trade, but now the Rock going to be committed onto the top of OG's head. S4 barely holding on. Him getting the lasso, hoping that they can get the burst with the assistance of No-Tail, but they will end up losing with the help of Laguna.
Aggressive isn't even going to lose the Aegis either.
Oh, no, he's still alive holding on.
Still on the high ground.
He's trapped up there, but it doesn't matter. They get the finish, and a hell of a fight for VGJ, and as you said, not even costing him the Aegis.
There's so many different forms of lockdown. Freeze was just kind of chilling in the backsides throughout, I mean, every single spell, all over the place. Every ROTK is like, oh, I'm getting Static Storm thrown on me. I'm perfectly fine with this. If Aggressive is able to get out of those Static Storms and Freeze isn't in the Static Storm either, that's like the perfect fight for Vici. When ROTK does those type of moves, it's just, yeah, it's exactly what they want to happen. He wants to be the damage soaker. He wants Fenrir to be able to get the golem off. He wants Aggressive to be able to do all the damage possible. And Free just still sit in the back line, land several multiple hero stuns, and a couple Dragon Slaves, and the nice finisher onto the Troll Warlord with a Laguna.
Man, he got a lot of charges back on that stone, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Jeez.
Sitting at 14 now, and he's very close to that Aghanim Scepter to burst the Troll, even if he does have a BKB. And the BKB is going to be coming out shortly, so it's kind of like a little bit behind timing that No-Tail would want. He would want to have the BKB in that last fight. Now he's going to have it, and Lena's going to have Aghanims in order to pierce through it.
Can't be too little too late, though. Do you think OG can still make something happen on the back of this BKB pickup?
Yeah, they can still make something happen. It's just that, yeah, it's like you would want your BKB to come up just before the Aghanims, but now it's at the same identical timing. It's Vici just being in a great position.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe credit to Vici. They didn't pump the brakes after that Aegis. They just took it right to OG and capitalized on that window, and they're looking to get more here. Ana, deep commitment in with a duel. Will secure the extra damage for OTK, and they're looking for more. They spotted out Captain Fly nearby. He has a glimpse. May try to send someone back, but it is not happening here. He gets easily taken down. Another twofer going to be claimed from Vici. Looking to fight back. They hang at the bottom of the group, but they are taking it to the top seed right now.
This is looking pretty grim for OG.
This is ridiculous. Here they go, ascending into the high ground and sieging away onto the tier 3. Freeze easily doing work from the low ground. ROTK takes the melee range, but now an assertive jump in comes out from Aggressive, chaining down S4 here.
S4 is just not really able to find good initiations because they have two ways to kind of avoid the lasso. They have the press the attack, and they also have the snowball. So it's like, and then the Ember Spirit is super like hard to actually grab with a lasso just because he can have the quick reactions from the Remnant or the chains as well. So they have a lot of different ways to deal with the initiation from OG.
Deep dive from Aggressive could get punished here. They get the lasso play. Remnant at the last second, but does end up getting taken down. Okay.
And they claim the racks because of him doing that aggressive move there deep. So pretty important move that he did.
Oh, they had a sentry in the mid lane. Just as Ana was creeping out, he does get spotted. Gets off a stun combo, but Possible reinitiation here. There goes the rock right on top. They blast down No Tail. He does have the BKB and is able to walk away, barely alive from that one. Upheaval, just a slow molasses play here, as Aggressive will be able to get the finish, taking down Ana. Gonna be out, no buyback.
No Tail getting used up, the re-engage coming out. He's gonna get dropped here.
Yes, he will. This could be the beginning of the end for OG in game number 1, who haven't dropped a game yet. And it could be to Vici J here.
It's looking very likely. There's so many different ways that Vici can just like pull away from the fight, and they have so many different forms of lockdown that it makes it really hard for OG to really do anything. OG, it's like they need to land like this like really nice impale into Static Storm, but Fly's not getting the positions to be able to get that kind of setup for those Static Storms. He's getting maybe one hero inside of it, but not the hero that he wants to. And then they also had the Aegis in that situation, so Aggressive with a beautiful zoning play, letting his team get the racks, and then just with the Aghanim's Laguna showing how much potential it can do versus the Troll Warlord. His BKB's down. They can re-engage with him with their massive burst and low cooldown spells, which Vici does have drafted.
Man, oh man. The value of this Legion Commander pick is feeling pretty good. I mean, they managed to creep it as their 5th pick, I believe, in this draft.
Yeah.
And, you know, being able to kind of put S4 in that bit of a pickle where he can't really get the grabs, can't really get the initiations. Well, maybe I spoke too soon there. Caster's Curses, he gets a nice little sweet pick onto Freeze.
That's a pick, though. You know, he was completely isolated. It's not like it was one of those like team fight situations.
S4 can't
like,
quite find openings to get kills, and gets a kill.
gets a guy. No, I agree though. RTK, even though maybe he's not having like the most like, wow, RTK, that was like a beautiful duel, beautiful setup and everything, which he has had a couple of those, and he does have 8 deaths, so you might be looking like, wow, yes, but that's his job in this game.
Yeah.
Tank the spells, use your Blade Melt. Like, if the Static Storm and everything gets used on him, he is perfectly happy with that.
Yeah, and it allows easy cleanup coming in, Freeze, Aggressive, and company. And it will be VTJ who kind of hold their heads high. It's starting to feel like a lot weighs on the shoulders of No Tail and his kind of single late game core troll at this point. Ana's been, you know, doing some work through the early game and finding the setups here, but it's only so far his Nyx Assassin will be able to go.
I mean, it's hard to land those type of,
yeah.
I mean, every single impale. They have the Monkey King stun too, but it's
Who has Basher now?
Still tough.
You know, which is nice for the ult, but he also feeling a bit weak. Gets blasted down in these fights pretty damn fast.
Yeah, just some immense amount of AoE damage coming out from Vici with the Fatal Bonds on top.
Fatal Bonds, Rock, Veil, all that goodness.
No Veil.
Oh, no Veil here.
No Veil,
Right,
yeah,
right.
he did skip the Veil.
He does have the spell, yeah. But here comes VTJ after claiming a tier 2 tower. Only one more outer tower does remain on the side of OG here.
I like this pickup by FY too. I think it's, I mean, kind of obvious that he would do it, but you know, Blink Dagger on Tusk, obviously, but then the Solar Crest. Since there's only one like physical damage dealer on OG, he can just throw the Solar Crest on the target the Troll's focusing, and that kind of...
It makes it so terrible.
Kind of
for the
hurts a
troll.
lot, yeah. It
Troll's
makes
just
Troll
like,
feel
are
pretty
you
bad.
Yeah, it's like, come on, really? Yeah, no MKV in sight.
And
It's
knowing
gonna
No
be a tough
Tail,
time.
he would probably exactly be like, oh, come on! Solar Crest, come on, dude.
He was talking about before it ruins the day of Clinks, so I imagine Troll's like a bit of the same.
Exactly.
It's like, I just want a single target DPS with physical damage, man. Solar Crest says nay. But OG getting the most they can through the lower half of the map, trying to build up as many resources as possible. Yes, they are down one set of racks here in the mid lane, but they are going to keep on fighting here and seeing what they can build up for the next big swing.
You can tell they feel very awkward, though. They
Yeah.
don't really know. They kind of feel like their window in this game has been totally messed up from the way Vici's been taking the fights.
It's
and
passed, but you know,
yeah.
we've seen other games in this very tournament where the OG have been down and been able to pull it back, but this is the best, one of the best games we've seen from Vici J, at least personally.
Oh,
They got
absolutely.
some good sleep last night, because this is not the Vici J who came to play last night.
Yeah,
When
last
matchup
night.
against Empire.
I mean, last game of the day as well. It does definitely wear you out throughout the whole day. So they did look quite shaky last night, but they are playing much better this game. In the laning phase, they did look like they had a little bit of shakiness, but then come mid game, they've been just running into OG, matching up every single time that OG tries to go for a setup. They always try to bring more heroes.
So BKB was just picked up on S4's Batrider. Do you think that might help the case a bit? He hasn't been able to find too many lead-in openings. Maybe this could be the tool to help capitalize on someone from VTG being a bit out of position.
He can try. He does have he has the BKB Blink Force set, but they still have the tools to be able to kind of, I guess you can say, counter away the lasso, because they have the Rock follow, the Rock
That's
counter
true.
initiate, but then they also have the Snowball, the Press the Attack, as I was mentioning before. They have a lot of different ways to just mess with S4's attempt at initiation.
What would you think would be the best case scenario? Like get a hold of Fenrir far from ROTK and take him out of the picture first so there's no Rock? Or is it maybe taking out ROTK from the fight first and foremost?
You would want to get Fenrir, but
Yeah.
that's impossible. Fenrir's going to be sitting way the hell
I think
in the
he's
back.
in like a different game.
I mean,
he
he
just sits in there.
even got the 150 cast range talent too, so he could actually be in a different game and throw the Rock.
Here comes Vici though. Kind of took things a bit passive for a while there, but now possibly looking to hit OG where it hurts and walk away with another set of racks, or maybe even the game altogether. Smoked up his 5, waiting just out the front door. OG got to be very suspect. Nowhere showing on the map.
They just picked up their BKBs on Vici, the Lina, and ROTK. Although it's going to be very hard for OG to fight once the main heroes on Vici turn yellow. It's going to be very difficult for them to really make an engagement. Just that magic immunity is very strong versus what the majority of OG has. It's just basically the troll ult, or the troll and the Monkey King ult, doing anything through those BKBs when they do come out. And I mean, Notel's farm has completely stagnated. He's the same items he's had for the last 9 minutes or so. Unable to really find any places to farm just because of the constant pressure on the lanes from Vici. They don't really want to walk out. Ana's like, I can't even like run around Vendetta because we're just like trapped in our base. No one else can join me. If I do go find somebody for a pickoff, it's like, well, you can't even bots on a creep wave because there is no creep wave to come to.
Just feel like their hands are tied right now, but lots of credit to Vici for that, being able to kind of swarm and cripple OG into a position where they're just kind of starving for farm at the moment, only giving bits of residue to Notel where available. And here you see a matchup between the 4 positions. Started pretty strong for Jarex, but here you see FY 21 to Jarex's level 14. You already see the...
that 40% experience game, delicious.
I'm sure that plays a factor.
Yep.
Double damage, ROTK, taking it to Roche here. Doesn't look like OG are considering countering it all. Instead, countering the vision. Countering the vision instead. That's just outside their base, I'd imagine. Yeah, you could see Fly there.
With that mid wave, the racks being lost, like the waves just constantly pushing in on them, they can't really even farm effectively at all. Everybody's just kind of sitting around. They do pick up a gem now onto S4, so they're going to try to clear out some of the vision that Vici does have, but Vici has a gem of their own to keep that aggression up.
Haven't been able to see OG in this kind of position in this tournament very often. Only one other game I can really recall that they had to pull out one hell of a comeback. And
they might not pick Jarex Monkey King anymore.
Oh, don't
Even
say
though
that.
it's not because of him, but anyway.
Grab,
look at this. They do
pull
grab
back,
Fenrir. He gets
Leslie.
grabbed, but the pressy attack coming out.
There it is. Not good enough. ROTK will be there to assist, but as I say
getting
that,
bash locked.
aggressive just inside the base. Be a bit too aggressive on that one. Will quickly lose his Aegis. Now the lead in duel comes out from ROTK. Quad Remnant almost forward to go for the finish on Notel, but they can't get it. He wins the duel and the damage. Looks to turn back onto aggressive. He tries to avoid the rest of the trouble, but eventually they will catch him. He goes down, does a buyback. Not looking to commit it here. Laguna flash onto Jarex. We'll get the finish. And now with Ana up in arms with FY. Goes into Burrow, gets scooted back, but that regen is not going to be good enough, and he ends up going down. Now the buybacks might be forced out here from OG. The first one going to be coming out from Jarex. FY still stuck inside, looks to go for the snowball. S4 takes him to the low ground here. Jarex bops him with the stun. FY still stuck on the inside. It looks like they'll get a few last right clicks to go for the finish. Yes, they'll finally get it. But turnaround play from Fenrir gets off a pretty good fatal bonds. Lingering damage onto S4 as he tries to hide back and away here. Vici have just been hanging through this mid lane. Still fighting this ridiculously long-winded engagement. Freeze will finally get the finish as he pummels down Fly. But no buyback was forced out.
That was through
Notel.
Aegis. That was through Aegis that they actually did that. Oh, Notel bash locked aggressive all the way through the Aegis, then aggressive comes back up, and they were able to actually clean him up a second time with the follow-up ultimates. That was fairly impressive defense from OG, but still Vici coming out ahead.
Yeah, I'd love to see this again. Started out with, as I was mentioning, maybe one of your best cases here, but you know, ROTK a bit too close, able to kind of take off that lasso, and then aggressive, just like, oh, I'll take it up on myself to move right in, and he just gets locked down.
Notel just living here too was pretty crazy. The bash is coming out from the Monkey King ult over and over again. Aggressive jumps in, gets caught by the mana burn. He doesn't have any remnants left to be able to survive, gets brawling up. FY takes out and cleans up Notel, but then Freeze, again, just still being able to do what his team is making space for. Freeze is just sitting in the backline and throwing like 15 spells in these team fights.
I feel like if that Monkey King ult was also just a little bit lower, it would have had connection on both Fenrir and Freeze. Fenrir, who was like channeling out the upheaval, and Freeze, who's like free throwing out nukes from far away. That could have been a bit concerning with all the bashes, but fortunately just a little too far up. But hey, props OG. They put up a pretty good hold for now. And it puts Vici in a bit of an awkward spot where they're going to have to probably stall out a bit. But as I say that, they seem to be congregating here through the mid lane and might begin to engage on a new game plan. But nearby is OG, hanging in that high ground.
They still have to be, you know, the game isn't secured by any means just yet, so they still have to be a bit careful. Wait for the rock, don't play too aggressively. They did have Aegis there, and they saw what just happened. So they're probably feeling it a bit. They're probably like, wow, we just had Aegis, and we went on high ground, and we didn't really claim any objective. We got some cool kills and stuff, but
do they have Rock yet? They're still like moving down this mid lane.
12 seconds.
Yeah, but OG
They
might get to jump onto him.
They scanned them though. They did get the scan on the left side just before a couple seconds ago. So they think they do know that something's coming up from behind them, but they're not really in a position that it seems to
No-Tail
be.
pops his BKB, and they've already made their move. The jump-in lasso play is there. They're looking to go for the pullback. Can they burst through the Lina in time? The counter rock is going to be able to come out on top of the Static Storm. Freeze able to barely wiggle his way up, but Fly's trying to get the finish there. He'll turn around, Laguna Fly right in the face.
The upheaval.
No-Tail stuck. ROTK looking to go in. He's able to get up the life, and he goes down. The Bloodstone sacrifice to ROTK keeps him alive there just barely as he swings against No-Tail. Now it's aggressive, hanging with ROTK, trying to go toe-to-toe against Ana, and it looks like they will be able to do it. It's Vici J able to come out on top of this one, but Ana's taking a lot of tankiness here. S4 from the outside shows himself with a flame break, and that's when Aggressive looks to make his move.
And he cleans up ROTK with the flame break, but it pays with his life.
Yeah.
With the chains coming out from Aggressive, he's going to be cleaned up.
Is he? Or is he?
Yeah, he should be. Yeah, he should be.
Okay, he's done for. 4 go down from OG. The only buyback available is on S4 at the moment. It's maybe it.
Yep, this may be it. Vici just very good the way they're taking these fights.
Another Bloodstone sacrifice, keeping ROTK in good form in that fight.
No-Tail as soon as his yeah, that was a really nice Bloodstone sacrifice to save ROTK and actually end up cleaning up No-Tail with it. But No-Tail, as soon as his BKB goes down, he's crawling in that upheaval. He couldn't move. He couldn't get away from anybody. It's actually having a really big effect, this upheaval in this game.
He tried to trigger that fight a bit early, and if it was just a few moments earlier, the Rock would probably not have been there at all.
Aggressive
But
going in onto S4. Laguna
dive.
coming out. He has BKB, so he can't get hit by the rest of nukes. Oh, lives with 90 HP.
Barely back inside. Aggressive even trying to go for the final little slash right there, but they're able to kind of force OG back and easily clean out a second set of wrecks here for themselves. 41-25, taking it to the top seed.
This is looking pretty secured now for Vici. I would say it's very, very, very low chances of OG being able to come back on this one in any means.
Yeah. I'm feeling one of those desperation mode smokes maybe could be in order. We'll have to see if it's either that or if they want to just anticipate maybe a misplay, looking in for the greedy finish from Vici J, but
they might need a lot of misplays though.
I don't know if there's much room for that. Been a wonderful game from Freeze already. You can see tremendous amount of hero damage here as we see a lasso play, top lane.
Yeah, they do get ROTK,
and a snipe
isolated.
onto ROTK. All right, while on the other front, Aggressive looking to come in for a bit of redemption. Aggressive tries to hide under a Shadow Amulet, and they actually don't have detection, so they'll just sit in the fire a bit and wait that one out. And it's going to be Aggressive who's forced to pull off. So, all right, more time here for OG to feel good as they claim a little bit of extra net worth.
They're not giving up. That's a great thing.
They're
That's the thing about OG is that, you know, they have had actual games kind of, like, not at this point at 42 minutes, but in this tournament they did have a game where they were like down 3-18 and ended up swinging it back. So not counting them out just yet, but it's very, very low chance of them to be able to win this one. They do now have the Lincoln Sphere finished up on the Troll Warlord, so he's able to block the Lagunas with his BKB up. Taking a look at a couple of the other pickups. Jarek's finishing up the Shadow Blade. Fly just has a Yule Scepter, so he's going to be able to set his kinetics up for himself and be able to break the Lincolns. And what is it? What's that Fly got? He's level 25 on Tusk.
All right. That XP, though.
That XP. Look at that. 700 health. Look how tanky he is now.
Jesus.
Look at his armor, dude. 39 armor with
He's a
2600 HP. He's going to be extremely difficult to bring down.
Wow. Well, OG making what they can from the map right now, and hopes that they could keep this one breathing for them. But it's all a matter of kind of getting back out, getting the ward, getting the vision down. But it does look like Vici J have ascended past the river. Here they come. What could be the final hurrah here? Will OG be able to hold? Scouting up above. Uh-oh. Jarek's has been spotted.
They've got a
Goes
gem,
to the
though.
low ground, and they will be able to take him out. Ah, the monkey.
Quick cleanup.
Okay, one man down now.
He has no buyback either.
That's tough. That ulti could have been high value if you wanted to be able to stop some of that channeling. Like that ridiculous upheaval. We'll see what they can do. Oh, immediate blink in from Aggressive here. Able to change down No-Tail. Looking to fight back. Pops out the ulti. The Stack Storm will be dropped. A commitment in from S4. And the pullback trying to grab Aggressive here. But he has that Lotus as he's going to be able to reflect it right back onto S4. The duel's going to be committed here. Locking S4 in his place. And they will be able to get the finish. Both him And it looks like Ana will be taken down. Buyback already going to be forced out. There's the stun on forward. Freeze able to dish out the right clicks, and No Tail will be dropped. This seems to be it for OG in game number 1, and they throw in the towel.
Woo,
they
Vici.
finally take a loss into all people. It's going to be Vici J who claimed the first win.
I would say that Vici definitely did have some great highlights in this game. I'd say that OG had some sloppy moments when they were going for some kills and stuff that you could tell that they were like, why are we fighting here? Fly unable to get some static storms just because it's really hard for him to place. It's like, okay, either Ana gets the impale and I get a follow-up static storm, or we're getting chased out and I have to do these like awkward like static storms just kind of to block an area, but then it's like, oh my god, we don't have our big team fight ultimate. It's like pretty hard for OG to really fight when Vici is just at an even level just because of the massive amount of team fight and where the fights were taken, near the shrines, near the tier 1s. Vici always just able to respond.
Yeah, OG had a lot to be able to bring to say that we want to be able to take fights here when you're mentioning the Static Storm, the Monkey King ultimate, but it never really always fell into line for them. And credit to Vici J with that draft. 5th pick, Legion Commander seemed to work out very well. Had a good laning phase between him and Fenrir. You were saying at the start, it's nice to see him be more proactive and assertive in the laning phase, not, ROTK just go to the jungle and make it work there and sack over the lane. This time they're more proactive, and it works out for them. So
yeah, absolutely.
What's that? Let's go ahead and throw it over to our panel right now. It's Paul and the gang. Let's see what their thoughts were on game number 1.
Thank you very much, gents. Yeah, we'll come back to you for game 2, of course, and a victory for VGJ. But more importantly, finally, we've proved that OG are human, after all. They have managed to lose a game. What do you put that down to?
Well, I think like Fog pointed out, I think Jerax's Monkey King was a little underwhelming. He seemed like he didn't get that much done in the early game. I really liked his ultimates consistently. They were very good, but there was a couple moments where his inexperience on the hero showed, especially in the last example where he died. Rather than jumping to a tree and then leaping with his damage ability to get away, he just jumped down and Shadow Bladed, which was the wrong reaction. So I think little moments like that definitely hurt them. But certainly it was all really the mid-game momentum that VGJ got from their Blink Daggers and mobile heroes. They took OG off guard many times in places where OG felt safe and forced him into bad fights. So it was really just amazing early mid-game fighting by VGJ, I think, that won this game.
Yeah, the